Srila Prabhupada's life is a very inspiring life.
Even though many people know, and rightfully so, the name of the Hare Krishna movement, Krishna consciousness, most people don't know the name of Srila Prabhupada. That's the Bharatiya way.
There is no other example entrepreneurship than Srila Prabhupada.
Why Srila Prabhupada is the single greatest spiritual entrepreneur from Bharat in the 21st century.
What Prabhupada, after 2 heart attacks in the ship, he wrote, see his humility. I have no devotion, he is making a prayer to my dear Lord Krishna.
Or this is a book of the year. Everybody is looking forward to read this book. This is not a religious book. It's an inspirational book. What you can do. Myself and Madhu Pandit goes long time back. He's a fighter. I always look at him, always thinking what kind of person he is, how he has made IIT graduate, topper in his study, entrepreneur, tremendous, and then never ever thought that he will be a religious person. And he wanted to, I'm just saying whatever I understand a little bit, that he was not happy with the life, he was not happy with the this world. Probably he wanted to suicide or do something, fed up with his life. And he read in his library in IIT book of Srila Prabhupada, only 2 pages. And that's it. He understood the purpose of life. So he's a very, very special. I'm very pleased that somebody like my best friend, Madhu Pandit, I've been persuading him last 5 years that London is waiting for you. Please come. He said, I have no time. I'm busy, whatever I'm doing. And he think big like Prabhupada, and he was in his activity. Every year I go and tell him, please, Madhu Panditji, please come to London. Please come to London. And I'm very pleased that he has come. And with the open arms, the entire London has welcomed him. He has done 7 programs. He's going to tomorrow Oxford, right? No?
Tomorrow Cambridge.
Tomorrow Cambridge. He went to the Oxford. What a crowd he pulled. Because we are not talking religion, we are taking way of life. And the way he speaks about the way of life is amazing. And that's what he's here. Every day, he's supposed to leave last week. He's extending every day, because new programs are coming. So nice that he's here. We really welcome you to all his people. And my life also, I was looking in my life, I never find any better entrepreneur. I wanted to be entrepreneur. I want to be disruptive. We all people are rebel. We want to do something different. We don't want normal. We want to explode, not expansion. Everything to be explode. And when I see how I get inspired, where I am today, only very small portion what I'm adopting of Srila Prabhupada. When I hear his story about him, he's a businessman like us in Calcutta, a chemist, and he inspired, he went to, and there he thought, what is entrepreneurship? Whatever I got impressed, there is no other example entrepreneurship than Srila Prabhupada. With the 40 rupees in his pocket, Sumiti Murarji, I know so well, he sitting outside because his guru, when he gone into wear the saffron cloth, his guru says the people in the Western world are suffering. They have to take the name of Lord. They have to be vegetarian. All the philosophy, because its connection is a mantra. Om is a mantra. Hare Krishna is a mantra. If the day his guru says, let somebody do it, जितना पाप करना है करने दो, सामने उसको राम का नाम लेने दो, देखो कौन जीतता है. राम का नाम ही आगे बढ़ के काम में आएगा. तो he came to US with the 40 rupees. Ultimately, he, with nothing in his pocket, gone with the ship, with the 40 rupees, he has gathered $1 billion. He has 1 million American people, Western people, shave their head and stop making them eating meat, or following the name of Krishna. He could do it. And that is what I call it entrepreneurship. When you can have this kind of movement. And all the entrepreneurship, if you look at in the world, they have not given their wealth to their children. If you see the discovery of India, there is a channel. This is the 5 people who built America. All 5 people, whether it's Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Wendell Waite, of these 5 people, all of them in 1820, all of them at that time, $500 million, $700 million, they have given back to the society. And that's what Prabhupada has done. That he created amazing 108 temple he has opened. It was not a temple, it was a cultural center. How you can transform yourself. So nobody thought of, this is what, for me, he's a real guru, inspirational. I never met him, but when I hear about him, I get inspired, I get courage. What you need in life, courage and humbleness. With the balance of these two, you can move anywhere. People get the courage, but don't get humbleness. They start fighting. So this is what Prabhupada has taught us. And he's a courageous man, replicating of Prabhupada. And he wanted to, nobody knew before he became a monk, what was his life, where he come from. I have not read his book, but he has a courage to write down, to do so much of research. It's not easy to find out everything. And he has a writer, best of people. A Penguin has from आगे से आके उन्होंने कहा कि हम आपकी book publish करेंगे. Or this is a book of the year. Everybody is looking forward to read this book. This is not a religious book. It's an inspirational book. What you can do. So Madhu Pandit ji is here. This is his evening. And we are looking forward to hear from him about the book and everything. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. A big thank you from ISKCON Bangalore to Sri Anil Agarwal ji for giving us this opportunity to discuss with such an esteemed audience, including yourself, the incredible story of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada began a spiritual revolution, which is a matchless gift of a pioneering cultural renaissance due to the effort of Srila Prabhupada. Today's discussion is based on the Indian national best-selling book, Sing, Dance and Pray, authored by Dr. Hindol Sengupta, historian and writer. We are pleased to have with us the author himself, with such an august panel of speakers alongside him. This evening's program began with a mellifluous kirtan rendered by the devotees of ISKCON here in London, and I think you will agree with me, it set the tone for a sublime discussion ahead of us today. On behalf of ISKCON Bangalore, I extend a warm welcome to all of you, and I hope that today's discussion will be an enriching one for every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce His Grace Chanchalapati Dasa. Sri Chanchalapati Dasa is the Senior Vice President of ISKCON Bangalore and the Vice Chairman of the Akshay Patra Foundation. His Grace has been involved in the implementation of various programs of the ISKCON Bangalore group of temples for nearly 4 decades. He has also been serving as the Vice Chairman of the free midday meal school feeding program, Akshay Patra, since its inception in the year 2000. I invite His Grace to kindly speak to us this evening.
Hare Krishna. Would like to extend a very warm appreciation and gratitude to Sri Anil Agarwal ji and the family for hosting this event as part of our multiple events, multi-location events in the United Kingdom for the launch of the book Sing, Dance and Pray, authored by Dr. Hindol Sengupta. As we just now heard from Sri Anil Agarwal ji, Srila Prabhupada's life is a very inspiring life because his life demonstrates dedication, his life demonstrates devotion to Krishna, dedication, sacrifice of personal comforts for the well-being of humanity. Srila Prabhupada, when he was a young man, after his education in Scottish Church College in Calcutta, he went through the coursework, a very prestigious college in Calcutta in the 1920s and even now. And he completed the coursework, passed the required exams, but he refused to take the degree because it was at that time Mahatma Gandhi had given a call that we should reject everything that is from the imperial world. And he was donning khadi dress, and it was at that time he met his guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who told him in their very first meeting that young men like him should spread the message of Krishna and the message of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. Srila Prabhupada, at that time, he was Abhay Charan Dey. He raised his hand in that interaction and told his guru, who will listen to your message of Krishna today? We are under foreign subjugation. The most important thing we need now is freedom. His guru gave a new perspective. He said, the world goes through different dynasties and regimes as part of history of humanity. The message of Krishna given in the Bhagavad Gita is so relevant, so important, that it cannot wait for change of regimes. You must take this knowledge and we must share this with the world. People all over the world may have economic prosperity, development, affluence, industrialization, but the fundamental problems of life, like suffering coming from disease, old age, and finally death, these are inescapable realities. And Krishna, in his message of Gita, provides a solution addressing these fundamental problems of material existence. And so it cannot wait. We have to share this knowledge with the rest of the world. That was a brief meeting, one evening in Calcutta, and next Abhay Charan, they had to move from Calcutta to Allahabad for his business. He was a chemist, he was a pharmacist. And much later, this meeting, first meeting happened in the year 1922. And much later, he became more involved with the message of his guru, and he got formally initiated as a devotee. And in the year 1936, he wrote once again to his guru, is there any special service that you want me to do? And his guru wrote to him that he must spread the message of Krishna all over the world in the English language. It was a repeat of the first instruction, the instruction he received in his first meeting. And in a few days after writing that letter, his guru passed away. In the Vedic culture, in one of the Upanishads, it is said, Yasya deve para bhaktir, yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyaita katita hyartaha prakashante mahatmanaha. One should have parabhakti to the Lord and similar parabhakti to one's guru. And only to such great souls will the imports of the Upanishads and Vedic literatures be revealed. This was a message that he had heard from his guru, and it is there in all the Vedic literatures. So he decided to take the instruction of his guru to spread the message of Krishna all over the world very seriously. And then he continuously worked publishing magazines, books, opening an institution, and it had to be closed down because of challenges. For the next about 35 years, all his attempts had failed. And now he had become about 69 years of age. It was at that time he had handed over the business to his grown-up sons and all the assets to his whatever simple assets as a middle-class Indian had to his family. And now he became a renounced monk and started living in a medieval temple in Vrindavan, writing books in English because his guru's order was that he should spread Krishna Bhakti around the world. Then at the age of 69, Srila Prabhupada travels to America as one final attempt in his life to fulfill his guru's order. And he lived for the next 10 years. And in those 10 years, Lord Krishna blessed him with enormous success. And he opened 108 Krishna temples all over the world, traveled around the globe 14 times, authored and published 70 books, went back to India, lived his last days in Vrindavan, and left this world in the year 1977, when he was 81 years old. This was the life of Srila Prabhupada. He made Krishna and Hare Krishna well known all over the world. Although Srila Prabhupada made Krishna and Hare Krishna mantra well known all over the world, he remained not so well known. There are a few biographies written about Srila Prabhupada by the ISKCON devotees. It's more for us. So in Bangalore, we were in touch with Penguin Random House publishers and spoke to them of a project. We want to make the life of Srila Prabhupada more well known, and it should be written by not an ISKCON member, and it should be written for not ISKCON people, somebody who is not, and someone who does not know about Srila Prabhupada. And at that time, the editors of Penguin suggested Dr. Hindol Sen Gupta, and we met him and we provided all the material, and he took about a year or so. About 6 months back, when Sri Anil Agarwal ji had visited ISKCON Bangalore, we shared with him about this book, and he said, please invited us, as he mentioned. He invited Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu that we should come to London and we should launch the book. And so we are here, and we are extremely thankful to him and thankful to all of you, as he said, to come on a Friday evening to participate in this book. We really appreciate all your presence. Namaste, Hare Krishna. Now I request Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu to also present the Bangalore temple honors to Sri Anil Agarwal ji.
But if anybody has not visited Bangalore temple, it's like a palace how somebody can create Narasimha, Radha Krishna, Narasimha Dev temple. When you enter the temple, you see you have come to the Swarg. And how he thinks so big. He creating a theme park. We'll show you theme park outside Bangalore. Bangalore here is the Bangalore temple. Next is theme park like you have in Florida. He's creating Krishna. All his imagination is amazing. This is the largest temple ever built on this universe for the Krishna, 100 acres in Vrindavan. The government is a partner and they're participating because he talk about the cultural center. He has a big, he want to transform the society, he want to follow the, but amazing thing is he always think big. Akshaya Patra, nobody knows Madhu Pandit name. He's the seed for the Akshaya Patra. Anywhere in the world, 2 million meal every day being provided for underprivileged people, underprivileged children. We have a Nandaghar. All our meal come from this. And he runs so professionally. So professionally. It is amazing how he gets this strength. I really wish him very well. All your wishes come true. This is most important. Never think for himself. This is Ram Darbar. It's going to be on my table. Thank you. Very nice.
May we request Mrs. Anil Agarwal ji to kindly step in and also receive the temple honors and the blessings of the Lord from Sri Madhu Pandit Prabhu.
In order to take the UK chapter of the book launch for Sing, Dance and Pray forward, I humbly request all the esteemed panelists this evening to kindly take a copy of the book Sing, Dance and Pray and hold it up for our audience and also for the camera team that we have, so we may get a small photo opportunity. Dr. Hindol Sengupta is a multiple award-winning author of 10 books. He has been a Chevening Scholar at Oxford, a Knight Baggot Fellow at Columbia University, and has a doctorate in international relations from the Geneva School of Diplomacy. He has been a World Economic Forum Young Global Leader. He is Chief Economic Research Officer at Invest India, the National Investment Promotion Agency of the Government of India. We're so pleased to have him here, and I invite Dr. Hindolji to kindly share with us about his experience of writing this book and his interaction and encounter with the work of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I want to begin by saying that I could have never written this book without the blessings, continuous guidance, and the grace of both His graces. Thank you, Madhupant Prabhu, Chanchalapati Prabhu. Thank you for helping me write this book. I had to rush off and have lunch at my old college at Oxford before coming to Anilji's house. And the professor was asking me, what are you going to talk about when Anilji launches the book? And we were discussing religious history, spiritual history. But listening to Anilji, I have changed the entire subject completely. And in reference and in honor of what Anilji said, I want to talk to you about how Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Srila Prabhupada, built 20th century's greatest spiritual startup. And I think it is only justified because we are in the presence of another great entrepreneur, devotee of Srila Prabhupada, who has also built one of the greatest companies out of India, Anil Agarwal ji. Ladies and gentlemen, what is a startup and why must we be concerned about it? In my day job, we talk a lot about this, but I want to talk about this in reference to what Srila Prabhupada built. Number one, a startup is to imagine that which everybody tells you cannot be imagined. That's the first virtue of a startup. You imagine that everybody tells you, this, ye to nahi ho sakta. Ye nahi ho paega. And yet you imagine this. You dare to imagine it. Srila Prabhupada, for most of his life, as His Grace was saying, was consistently given the message, as it were, by the world, कि आप जो कह रहे हैं वो नहीं हो पाएगा. You're an ordinary monk. You had a little work of your own before that. How can you build, especially how can you go abroad, number one? And how can you spread the message of the Lord all around the world? This is not possible. It is not humanly possible. You neither have the resources, nor the contacts and network, neither the skill sets of building such an institution. And yet, in the manner that only a true startup founder would, Srila Prabhupada held on to that idea because his guru had told him, you know English, you spread the message of Krishna around the world. He didn't hold on to the idea, I meet many startup founders who say, I spent 5 years, I began at 22, I'm 27 now, this is not working. Srila Prabhupada continued till he was 69 years old. At a time, most people are calculating how much pension they have left. And at the age of 69, boarded the Jaladuta. In one of the launches, I spoke about how all of us have to board the Jaladuta. All of us have a Jaladuta in our lives, which is the metaphor for boarding or embarking on a journey into the unknown that could potentially transform our life, but we don't usually know it. We think it will destroy our life. Srila Prabhupada boarded the Jaladuta as only a true entrepreneur would, to build the greatest spiritual adventure 20th century had ever seen. In the classic way that happens to entrepreneurs, he had 2 heart attacks in the journey. Because no entrepreneurial journey, and Anilji would vouch for this, is without difficulty, is without extreme challenges, is without extreme hardship. It's not possible. He landed with 40 rupees. Again, as startups with no money from his, startups make a big deal in America कि हमने तो garage से शुरू किया था. उनके पास तो garage भी नहीं था. He landed in a country where everybody is very proud, ladies and gentlemen, usually. We started our startup dream from a garage. This man had no place to live, forget a garage. He started with nothing onto the streets of New York with one idea. The name of Krishna should be known everywhere. Now we come to the second big startup idea. What is the second big startup idea? You have an idea that you want to reach to everybody, but you have no idea how your audience will accept it. Your audience might reject it. You have no guarantee that your audience will reject it. You must find within yourself the communication ability to talk about your idea in a way that your audience will accept it. So we find Srila Prabhupada in the middle of anti-Vietnam War protests in New York, working with hippies, teaching them to clean their life, because how can they be true devotees to Krishna if they cannot even clean their own lives? And often that cleaning their own lives began with haath dho ke pehle aao. At that basic level. We always say Steve Jobs completely changed the way consumers behave. उन्होंने behavior change कर दिया. He gave people what they didn't know they wanted. I would like to argue to you that long before Steve Jobs, Srila Prabhupada gave to his audience something that they didn't even know they wanted. उनके ऑडियंस को बस उनको पता नहीं था कि उनको कृष्ण नाम चाहिए. Srila Prabhupada को पता था that this is a revolutionary change in your life. And with that confidence, he brought to them that which they didn't even know they needed. So even though the world celebrates this wonderful adventure of Steve Jobs, I put to you that even though many people know, and rightfully so, the name of the Hare Krishna movement, Krishna consciousness, most people don't know the name of Srila Prabhupada. That's the Bharatiya way. You know, just now Anilji was saying that His Grace Madhu Pandit Dasaji built this entire cosmos of spiritual activity without him really not being known. And who would have inspired him but Srila Prabhupada, who took this message to his audience they didn't even know. The third lesson of entrepreneurship. Your audience will always tell you, this is too esoteric, this is too exotic, we don't care about this. You have to give them scale. So I think of Srila Prabhupada going to San Francisco in the middle of the flower power generation, जब वहाँ पे सबसे बड़े musical festivals होता था, anti-Vietnam war festivals, वहाँ पे उन्होंने कहा, you think you have seen a big festival? You know, like Steve Jobs said, you think you have seen a mobile phone? I will show you what a festival is. From the Jagannath Puri of India to the streets of San Francisco, I will bring you the Rath Yatra. And the final lesson of entrepreneurship, ladies and gentlemen, the final lesson of entrepreneurship. Till the very end, in this 10 years when he built 108 temples, Srila Prabhupada, as we were just hearing, never thought small. He could have said, New York mein ban gaya mera, San Francisco mein ban gaya. That's more than enough. I fulfilled what my guru asked me. London mein George Harrison ban gaya mera disciple. Isse zyada kya chahiye? Ab bataiye, in the 1960s, to have a Beatles as your disciple was one of the most exciting thing in the world. He could have said, that's it, I'm done. You know, I'm a 70-year-old, I'm a septuagenarian, I'm a 70-year-old. I've done all these things, what more do you want from me? But he continued. He continued building. He continued persevering until it reached a particular scale that even when he gave up his bodily self, as the greatest entrepreneurs often do, what they built live long after they themselves are gone. So that's the final lesson of institution building and entrepreneurship from Srila Prabhupada. That's why Srila Prabhupada, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is the greatest spiritual entrepreneur of the 20th century. And I would argue, he is one of the greatest spiritual entrepreneurs the world has ever seen, because not only did he build this entire network of temples, remember, he built one of the greatest publishing adventures the world had ever seen. The Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust published tens of millions of copies of Indian spiritual material. In fact, after Gandhiji, the person who had the greatest impact around the world of spreading the word of Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita is Srila Prabhupada. This is the magic of Srila Prabhupada, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to thank Anilji for giving me this idea to change my talk completely and talk to you about why Srila Prabhupada is the single greatest spiritual entrepreneur from Bharat in the 21st century. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Hindolji. I now humbly request Sri Anil Agarwal ji to kindly share a few words with us today on the book, on Srila Prabhupada's life, and your own, probably your own experience of interacting with the transformational power of Srila Prabhupada.
No, I thought I've spoken, but it's pleasure talking to all of you any point of time. For me, I'm looking at all these young people here. And this room, we are here at this time of the hour. This is your time. Never think small. This is your time. You have to be impatient. The time is very short. You have to make impact, whatever you are doing. When I go to the temple, I find people want to japa the Hare Krishna name, read the Bhagavad Gita, have prasad and satisfied. No question. No question. You have to work 10 times harder. What is this body for? And you people have so much of energy. We all have come to a different land. We have to make, I always said that what is important, I have a Nitesh Gaur, amazing young man. He's in his, when he passed out first class first in the business school and everything, he wanted to be a big banker. I persuaded him that everybody is doing that, why don't you do something different? And I think his parents has raised him to look after the family, make his family rich or whatever, and they must be very disappointed at that point of time. And his wife, top doctor, and both of them put them to the service, and they built 13 school, Krishna Avanti school, and he invited Queen and the Prince Philip came. They came for 1.5 hours. They were there for 5 hours. They couldn't believe. The Queen asked the question, "Are you going to change my children vegetarian?" He says, "No, His Excellency, we provide vegetarian food." Is after that up to the parents, home, what they provide. He says, "What is that something different you do in your school?" He says, "We have the same syllabus, but other school has. Only thing we say, respect your parents, respect your neighbor, respect your country, indebted to your country who's brought you up, not to be obese, to be hardworking, to excel in every respect." Queen was amazingly happy. And he can say like this before Queen at that time. I'm talking about 10 years back. And today he's running that school. So this is everybody, all of us. You have something in you. You have born with something. You have to make it 10 times better. Krishna says, "I will never take first step. First step will be yours. If I don't come within a second with my second step, then you see. But first step you have to take." So all of us are here. Madhu Pandit is amazing. I always hear the Pandits are very straight, Pandit, Pandit, Pandit. But he has a Madhu. He has a sweetener. With his word, if you go to Bangalore, is the IT city, is the richest state in our country. And that anybody has come, he mesmerized. He says, "You're going to start up, you are going to list your company. Okay, what percentage you want to put into Krishna? And then you start." And trust me, everyone who has pledged before him, whatever, he become a big. So all of us has to learn, we have to take out something from us. The day you start, that something is for Krishna. Then you decide whether it's a food for life, whether helping others, starting your colleague, whatever. That facilitate, that gives you more broader. But whatever time is, I'm looking at least for 1 minute. Nitesh Gaur, where is he? Is he around? He's never been seen. He's the chairman of all our school, all our temple. He has bought a beautiful castle. Please visit these places. You will feel amazing. And he is the disruptive. लोग इसको बोलते हैं तुमको पाप लगेगा, because वो बोलता है, अभी हमने 10 दिन पहले Church of England, we had a big program in the church, and the church itself invited for kirtan, and the priest was convinced the name of the Lord is connecting, all are same. And we had almost 1,000 people, only 5 to 7 people were Indian people, all were the foreigner. The program for 1.5 hours, the program lasted for 3 hours. Everything organized by him. He always remained behind. He'll be somewhere sitting outside. But the way he and his wife has done, I want him to say a few words and address Madhu Pandit and to the young audience.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Anuji always puts me on the spot like this, even though, but so much of whatever we have been able to do in the UK has been because of Kiranji and Anuji standing behind it all, including the schools. I mean, when we started the schools, I remember in 2008 we had 22 children. We couldn't even fill one class. So, but that grew, and with the success of the program, and now we have, as you know, 12 schools going to 14, and 6,000 kids, and anyway, it's growing. And Anuji was there when the Queen visited to present her with the tapestry of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jharkhand forest, and just explaining the spiritual nature of what we're trying to do, and the focus on how spirituality can help us in our life. Doesn't matter, regardless of what background we're from, that there's a significance to spiritual life, and how actually there's a version of that which we hope to present that's actually applicable and universal, not sectarian. And so many other things that have come from that. Recently, Anuji, we purchased this retreat center in Lincoln, and that's a 50-bedroom, 75-acre place which Anuji donated to Avanti Foundation, a place where we take students, we take people from our university societies, we take people from the restaurant, which also Kiranji and Anuji sponsored, in Islington, Omnom. So now there's a lot happening in the UK. There's a lot happening in a way which is so very special and dynamic. And it's amazing to see actually how many of the people of this country, of course there's the Indian diaspora, and many, hundreds of thousands of people visit the Soho Street Temple and Bhaktivedanta Manor, but also so many of the local kind of English people coming through these different projects. And it's in the Western world, in Western Europe and in America, in this sense, this country is very unique because it's maintained that momentum. And like I say, genuinely speaking, I'm not just saying it because we're all sat in their home, but that's so much because this one family has been behind it. So yeah, thank you so much, Kiranji and Anuji.
With your permission, one thing I want to say by my heart, everything is spiritual. You don't discriminate that only you do the worship. There's a spiritual life. You are doing your business is also spiritual. Everything is spiritual. It's all a state of mind. It is written that what is the sakam, that you do your karma. That itself is a spiritual. Has to be. Hare Krishna, even if you doing the Hanumanji never get a chance to name japa the name of Rama. But it was in his every breath, there was Hare Krishna. He was busy. He was busy to make Ram to meet Sugriv. He was busy to find out where the Sita is. He has no time, but in his heart, all the time Rama Japa was happening. For us, one thing I'm always, if I don't get time, but for me, my most important thing is my profession. If my profession does not allow me for one day not to japa, I will do that. I will take that sin because I'm doing the work only for Krishna. So this is a message for the young people. For us, there is no discrimination. But if you are a student, that is a spiritual path. If you are doing the business, that is a spiritual path. If you are taking care of your children, Yashoda is taking care, you are making them bathe. You are doing the Abhishek. You are not bathing him. A small child, this is Abhishek. That itself is a spiritual. So sometimes I get this, that most important thing, what is assigned to you, you make sure you can do as much as with the perfection. And Hare Krishna is the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sri Anilji. I think he has very beautifully illustrated with his words the examples of how Srila Prabhupada's life, when it is, and teachings, when they are applied into practical realities, can really transform and touch the hearts of millions of people. Thank you so much. I now request Sri Madhu Pandit Dasa to kindly share with us a few words. Please allow me to introduce him a little bit to you. His Grace Sri Madhu Pandit Dasa is not just a spiritual leader, but he's also the president of the ISKCON temple in Bangalore. He's the founder and chairman of the Akshaya Patra Foundation, guiding the organization to realize the vision, no child in India shall be deprived of education because of hunger. His Grace Sri Madhu Pandit Dasa joined the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, soon after his studies at the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Later, he received the Distinguished Alumnus Award from IIT Bombay. The Government of India has conferred upon him the prestigious Padma Shri Award in recognition of the distinguished service rendered by the Akshaya Patra Foundation for the Children of India. Ladies and gentlemen, Shriman Madhu Pandit Dasa.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm extremely pleased to be here today in the midst of all of you to speak a few words in glorification of one of the greatest personality the world has seen, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We have so far discussed Chanchalapati, Hindulji, Anilji. We discussed about what wonderful things that Srila Prabhupada has contributed to this world to make people more happy, to give meaning to the life of people, and finally giving them Krishna consciousness, which is a universal consciousness beyond all sectarian religion, the religion of the soul, which everyone can embrace, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion. Srila Prabhupada, sometimes some press people asked some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, why you have changed from Christianity to Hinduism? They said, no, we have not changed to Christianity to Hinduism. We have become a better Christian. Prabhupada has made us a better Christian. We now understand properly what is taught in Bible after reading Bhagavad Gita. So, Srila Prabhupada's unique contribution we should understand. It is not just that he took Hinduism to the West. In fact, when you say Hinduism, you limit things. This is the religion of this is a Sanatana Dharma, the Dharma of the soul. Dharma of the soul is seva. Everybody is serving somebody. Just see, even a rich man is serving, a rich businessman is serving his customers. He has to satisfy his customers. So, service cannot be, Prabhupada explained that service, you cannot escape serving somebody. Parents have to serve the children, children have to serve the parent, teacher has to serve the student, student has to serve. So, service is the dharma of the soul. And he explained that there is one service that will completely satisfy us is when we serve the complete whole, that is Krishna. And one important thing that, all the struggles of Prabhupada that we heard about, his humility, as Anilji said, should be courageous and be humble also. I will read out one small part of it's a long poem, a small part of what Prabhupada, after 2 heart attacks in the ship, he wrote. See his humility. I have no devotion. He is making a prayer to my dear Lord Krishna. ISKCON has not come into existence. An old man, 69-year-old, on a cargo ship, he writes, I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. And how he signs? The most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is his humility. His faith in the holy name. You just see, he says, and now I don't have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. And there is another anecdote of Prabhupada. Another anecdote of Prabhupada, when in Bombay, when he had a big program in Chowpatty, the huge crowd, and one of them at the end of Prabhupada's lecture, and Prabhupada was sitting on the stage, and all his foreign disciples were there, all shaved up, and chikka and tilak and everything. And someone stood up and asked Prabhupada, can you do some miracle? Walk on water or something like that. So Prabhupada replied, my biggest miracle is these people. And then he said, this is not my miracle. It is a miracle done by Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There also Srila Prabhupada, he sent the message to everybody. Everywhere Prabhupada was sending the message that Kali Yuga, Krishna is incarnated in his name. You want divine power, you want divine knowledge, you want divine qualities, you want divine love. It is available in the sound Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shabda Avatara. Avatara means Krishna comes into some material energy. Just like you have murtis in your temple. So Krishna incarnates, avatara, archa vigraha, archa avatara. He enters in a form that resembles that archa avatara. And then you worship him. He receives your worship. You talk to him, you pray to him, you pray to the deities, you talk to the deities, right? And Prabhupada showed the whole world that sound incarnation of Krishna, Kalikale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that. It is a fact that just like you don't need to go to a temple to find Krishna. You simply have to move your tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Believe me, Krishna enters that sound. So you want God with you always? So chant his name. This is what Srila Prabhupada, that's why this whole movement, what is it called? Hare Krishna movement. So it is a movement of, it is the power that is flowing from this Hare Krishna movement. So we all, if we have to take a message from Srila Prabhupada, which he gave to the world, sufficiently Chanchalapati Das, or Hindolji and then Anilji spoke about Prabhupada's personal glories. But what is it that he wants to give to the world? That's what I am focusing on. What he wants to give to this world, let us not miss that. Every one of us can get this treasure of the holy name. There's nothing that is, your life will be most successful if you develop that Shraddha, that Krishna, Nama is Krishna. Krishna's name means Krishna is on my tongue. And then, there is something else Prabhupada taught, lesson number 2. Not only you chant the holy name, you should hear the holy name. When you hear the holy name, only then Nama goes into your heart. Now you're hearing me. When you're hearing me, that means, the sound is going to the heart. If you're not hearing me, if you're thinking of something else, the sound will stop at the ears. So, therefore, Prabhupada gave this another very important secret. He told you chant and exactly the same sound you hear. So, when this is a medicine for Kali Yuga, medicine for all our sufferings. We are all patients. Everybody in this world is a patient. Because in this world, we cannot get happiness, we cannot get peace, we cannot get pure knowledge, we cannot get eternal life. These are our deepest quest. When we are not getting it, we are all short of something. We can become complete only by associating with the complete Krishna. Krishna is complete. Krishna is a reservoir of knowledge. He is a reservoir of love. He is a reservoir of power. Everything. God is the infinite reservoir of everything. And Prabhupada presented Krishna in this way, not as a Hindu God. Prabhupada presented Krishna as the God. You define God in whichever way you want. No, God should be this, God should be this, God should be this, God should be this, God should be this. You will end up, that is Krishna. So, non-sectarian way he has given. So, to bring into our life Krishna, our life becomes complete. And the easy process that Prabhupada gave, which is coming from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is to chant and hear the holy names of the Lord, which is called Sankirtana, which is called Japa. And Krishna is Parabrahman, Parabrahma, Paramdhama, Pavitram, Paramam Mama, Purusham, Shashvatam, Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vivu. He is a Pavitram Paramam. That means he is supremely pure. Just like, you stand near the fire, you will get the warmth of the fire. So you stand continuously in association with Krishna, you get the fire of purity. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all will vanish. As Anilji said, sins cannot stand before Hare Krishna. Sins cannot stand before Krishna because Hare Krishna is Krishna. So therefore, somehow or the other, Prabhupada, that is exactly what Prabhupada did. He went to America. They did not have any background of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita or nothing. He gave them Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He gave them Prasadam. Sins vanished from their heart. Sins disappeared from their heart. So and only when sins go away from our heart, we will feel what we truly are. We are actually blissful amshas of God. We are all within ourselves. We all have Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada explained this very importantly, that Krishna consciousness is not something that I am trying to put into your mind from somewhere outside. Prabhupada said that Krishna consciousness is something which is inside you, which I am awakening. Every living entity is conscious of God, but is in forgetfulness. So the spiritual master like Srila Prabhupada has taught us how actually to awaken our Krishna consciousness. And that process is very clear process he has given. He is every day make a habit of chanting and hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Whatever you are doing, whatever profession you are doing, whatever you are doing in your life, add Hare Krishna to it. This is very important. Prabhupada gave one example. If you put digit 1 before many zeros, suddenly all the zeros will get so much value. Similarly, you put one Krishna before your profession, before all your endeavors, before all the challenges in life, before all your sukha in your life, before all your dukkha in your life, everything will get meaning if you put Krishna there. And this is what Prabhupada taught the whole world, that putting Krishna in our life in the front is so important. And the way to put Krishna in the front is so simple. Have faith. It's a very big secret. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Not ordinary sound. Just like a child will think a 100-pound bill is just paper. Right? But since you are educated, when you say, no, it is 100 pounds. It's not paper. What is the value of the paper? Small piece. But it has got 100. Why? Because the government has authorized it. This 100. This is a value. Similarly, this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Look like ordinary sound. But it's not. It is the ocean of Sat, Chit and Ananda. It's the ocean of all eternity, knowledge, bliss. And just by constantly associating with that, we will experience what our deepest in our, each of us, deep in our heart, want: eternity, pure knowledge, bliss and love. This is what we all want. And that is available for us simply by touching Krishna. Like Surya, sun is a ocean of light and heat. Just get a feeling. Sun, how much light and heat. So Krishna Nama is a sun of Satta, Chitta and Ananda. So simply we have to associate with him, and then we get inspired. We get, just like Prabhupada gave a very beautiful example. Take a piece of iron, put it in the fire. When slowly what happens? The fire will pass on the heat to the iron piece. After keeping it for sufficient time, what will happen to the iron piece? It will become red hot. That means the iron will become fire-like. Similarly, more and more we touch Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by hearing that, our heart will also, our soul will start Satchidananda experience. Because Krishna is Satchidananda. Krishna is a fire of Sat, the fire of Chit, and fire of Ananda. Infinite fire of Ananda. You send that infinite fire into your heart. You also have to get, you will also get caught in the fire. Sat fire, Chit fire, Ananda fire. That's simple, this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Holy name, Hare Nama, eva kevalam, kalau nastyeva, gatir anyata. There is no other way other than holy name. So Prabhupada's message is always this to the whole world. Prabhupada proved it also. See, I went with nothing, and in the boat, in the ship I wrote, I have only one thing: faith in your holy name, the power of your holy name. And he proved that to the whole world, the power of the holy name. And Prabhupada instructed all of us can share this power of the holy name to serve the holy name. So he wanted, his vision was not to end Krishna consciousness with all his achievements. Prabhupada wanted the whole world. Come on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted that the golden period will come if the Nama Sankirtana is spread all over the world. So in this direction, I heard some of the adventures of Anilji and Nitesh, Naveen Krishna Prabhu. I heard their adventure of making 1,000 people chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra in a church. And they did it so wonderfully, because this is actually universal. It does not matter. As you said, you don't have to use the word. In fact, somebody who does not know, let's say somebody in the pole star, in the North Pole, who does not know anything about Krishna, anything about Rama. Who is Krishna, who is Rama, doesn't know. You make him chant Hare Krishna, love of God will develop in him. It is a fact. Because you don't need any previous qualification that will trigger our love for God in our heart. So with these few words, stressing on the message of Srila Prabhupada, holy name, Nama Prabhu is waiting. Krishna comes in the Rupa, in the Vigraha. Now Krishna has come in the Nama. So take this to your heart, and whatever we are doing in life, ultimately we are all after eternity, knowledge and bliss. Happiness के लिए कर रहे हैं सब. नॉलेज के लिए कर रहे हैं. For existence we do everything. So this is Satya Chittan Ananda. And different people do it differently. But ultimately everybody is seeking of these three things. And that you directly feed your soul. And you become completely blissful. Thank you very much. I want to thank Anilji and family for hosting us today. For this glorification of Srila Prabhupada and his message. And I hope all of you are inspired by Prabhupada to really read this book and practice some of the things that Prabhupada wanted to gift to each one of you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki. Thank you.
Yes. Anilji, what he said is absolutely true. This is the time for you, if you have any questions, to ask them, any burning questions. Our panelists will be most happy to answer. Yes, questions, comments. You can just raise your hand and I'll make sure this mic reaches you. Yes.
Hare Krishna. My question is to the author. So while you're writing this book, what was your personal transformation hearing about Prabhupada, and what personal transformation have you had in your life since writing the book?
I think my personal transformation, thank you for the question, can be first anecdotally explained by something Madhu Pandit Prabhu said. You know, when he was saying that Srila Prabhupada was asked, what was your miracle? He pointed this way and said, these are my miracles. So he also pointed towards me and said, these are my miracles. That is the personal transformation I had. So whenever he kept on doing this, I was like, yes, yes, exactly. No, I think...
He's chanting now.
Yes, and I wanted to just... Absolutely. You see, I want to really emphasize this. This was discussed. This question actually comes up in many of our book launches. And I want to emphasize this. Even though His Graces and I had long conversations about Srila Prabhupada, about Krishna consciousness, I want to emphasize that neither of them ever told me to chant. In fact, they never told me to do anything. In fact, as I said in one of the launches, they never even told me, no, you must immediately come to the temple. They let that process seep in. And as His Grace Chandrapati Prabhu explained, as I came towards the end of writing the book, it is I who told him one day that, by the way, I just want you to know that I have started chanting. And he was, of course, very happy. But this was never... I was never told to do this. So if you really want to know one way that it transformed my life, this was it. And I really want to emphasize this, as the book process came to an end and we started talking about the book, I had a very grave personal emergency, in the sense my father fell very unwell and he continues to be very fragile. And I genuinely feel this, that I began chanting through the process of this book has really helped my father remain stable. And he was really, we went through extremely precarious periods a few months ago. And, my father remains stable today. And I truly believe this is grace.
So I think what you said is absolutely right. Just one little illustration. And I think it would help a lot of young people here. Maybe. Very close relative of mine, very close to me, and a patient as well. She had very advanced brain tumor, and she had never really prayed to Krishna. But in the last year of her life, she was just speaking to me, and I told her, why don't you start doing Hare Krishna mantra? If you don't have beats, doesn't matter. Do it in your chakras. So I taught her to do Krishna meditation, Krishna japa in each of her chakras, and she started doing it. And I remember I was in Indonesia attending a wedding. Her daughter called me and said, Mom, I think is going. She's dying. She's only 50 years old, about 2 years back. And so she put on the FaceTime and we started to resuscitate her, give her cardiac resuscitation. And suddenly this young girl, the mother, she tells me, I'm dancing with Krishna, let me go. She had this amazing vision of Krishna dancing with her, and I told her, stop the cardiac resuscitation, she needs to go. So that is a transformation of the Krishna mantra.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Hello. Hi, my question is to Sri Madhupadji. During your early life and before this transformation began, what were your triggers and what were the triggers or what were the instances where you actually felt that you actually have to do this and you want to move towards this path?
Yeah. As a young student, I was searching after the cause of all causes. I was searching after the origin of everything. I was so much excited about physics. I thought physics would give me an answer. But somehow or the other, at the end of that search, when I was in the 4th year, in my 3rd year in BTech, at that time I got disillusioned when I realized that science is limiting itself only to what the 5 senses can observe. Science doesn't even understand what is mind, what to speak of soul. So I understood that the Param Satya, the absolute truth, cannot be found by physics because they are already limiting that knowledge. And then I went into philosophy. Maybe that can answer. So I read many philosophies. But then I never got to understand that God could be a person. Because when you're a science student, you always think ultimately there is some power, there is some, energy and all these things. But when I read Prabhupada's book, that energy comes from an energetic person. Energetic is more primary than energy. Energy is like you have all energy. Who has? You have. You are more important. You are the owner of the energies. So this simple logic that Prabhupada explained, that God is a person. And he is not a person like me and you. God is a person who can, just like you read Krishna's Leela. He's not an ordinary body. He married 16,000 queens. He danced with so many gopis, not 1 or 2. He created 16,000 palaces. He lifted a Govardhan as a child. As a 3-month-old child, so many asuras, Putana was killed. So that means his body was not ordinary. So I was shocked to understand that we always think God is a person means by saying he's a person, you limit him. But there is a concept of unlimited person, and that is Krishna. There are 2. God is a person, we are also a person. We are tiny always, but he is infinite. And yoga means connecting ourselves with the infinite. And that gives a completeness of existence. And that philosophy of Prabhupada, when he explained that as it was in the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna's Leela, I got completely, I decided that my life is meant only for this particular cause.
Quite a quick one. Through the entrepreneur panel is sitting here. So my question is, we say this ISKCON Bangalore temple, there was a very innovative ideas they have generated. And the core product of the temple, I'm just speaking from management point of view, is to help people to go give darshan of Lord, give a bit of Harinam. Ye sab society will think that way. Ye sab kya karne ki zarurat hai, So how an entrepreneur, like a school example, बच्चों को पढ़ाओ, अच्छे marks दिलाओ, ये सब क्या सुबह pray करना, Krishna conscious भोजन नहीं खाना, So it's a lot of challenge, We as a business, we face sometimes, when you are thinking out of box, which is going to be grand in the time to come, but facing a lot of challenging time. How does a person cope with that? How does an entrepreneur cope with that?
As we just now heard, that, like an entrepreneur experiences challenges and opposition, and everyone in life is facing some of these things. And if we get connected to Krishna, who is the source of unlimited power, energy, knowledge, resources, then we will be able to we'll be able to cross over some of these challenges. Krishna says in the Gita that Mat chitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atha chetvam ahankara na shroshyasi vinangshyasi. A Krishna conscious way of handling these things. Krishna is saying, mat chitta sarva durgani. Durgani means obstacles, challenges, difficulties. If you become conscious of me, mat chitta sarva durgani tarishyasi, we will be able to cross over. So this is Krishna's message, that we should become conscious of him, and by his blessing we will be able to cross over all these things. And to become conscious of him, the simple method in this age is to chant the holy name of Krishna. So I would say that, like we have also, as we run a big organization, and we also face challenges, and we reach out to Krishna, and by chanting his holy names and being conscious of him, and by that blessing, we cross over, and all the things that we have done, whatever we have done, is by the divine blessings of the Lord. Thank you.
While we get ready to begin the Arati, I just want to say formally a huge thank you once again to Sri Anil Ji and his family for hosting us this evening. It's a very precious spiritual opportunity that all of us have been blessed with, to be here in this august room with such an amazing set of speakers to help us and guide us and inspire us to think about looking within. Because it's very easy to get swept away by the externals of existence. And when we actually have to force ourselves to look inward and tap deeper into our inner selves and inner journey, that is really a gift. So thank you all, dear speakers, for allowing us to have this opportunity to access such a precious gift.